And to all the entrepreneurs, I'm very strong proponent of starting companies when nobody is starting. You have less competition. Simple math. It's simple logic. Sorry, not even math. It's simple logic.
Startups saw they saw funding winter. You invest in startups.
Yes.
You work with a lot of startups. I mean, why do you think this is happening? Do you expect this to change? Your thoughts on this?
So I think we've always talked about checks and balances. I love this cold funding winters. I love them, by the way.
Okay.
One is you get to choose the deals.
Okay.
And you come across better deals during this time. Right?
Okay. At
reasonable valuations.
Okay.
Right. So for people like me, it's a very good time. Right. Right. And but I mean, I think we all know that post COVID we went through. I mean, only thing is that things are changing very fast. During COVID. First phase of COVID, we didn't know what is going on, what the shit is going to go on, and everybody thought, okay, July is going to have change. I was making plans to travel all over the world in July. I mean, I'm talking about in April.
Right.
In March, April, we thought, okay, it's going to end in June, it's going to end in July, it's going to end in August. Then, of course, we went through period of uncertainty, and then we went through, okay, now the vaccine is coming and things are happening, and there's a boom, there was a splurge. There was a hope, there was a splurge, and that also led to great resignation. I mean, we all know. From great uncertainty to great resignation, to great splurge. People started hiring a lot of people. On one hand, we were having this great resignation, and then right after that, I mean, at MCs, we doubled ourselves during that time.
Wow.
Our size. And I think because of our customers. And then, of course, then people realize that high inflation rate and that we don't know what the economy, where it is going, where it is headed. And all of a sudden, people started laying off. And then we saw the great shed or the great layoffs, right? So you see the great resignation, great splurge, great hiring, to great number of layoffs. I mean, we went through within 6 months. Right. Typically, such cycles will last for, I would say, 3 to 4 years, right?
Okay.
Now, I mean, it's just happening in 6 months, 7 months, 8 months. Now, all this was obviously going to lead to or going to impact startup world eventually, and it did. And I mean, there's uncertainty in financial markets. I mean, beginning of the year, end of last year, we saw there was a huge uncertainty in the financial markets. Everybody was saying, "Oh, great recession is coming," right? I mean, we're still waiting for it. Right?
It hasn't come.
It hasn't come. I think they're some guys always that they're the doomsday prophets, and they always. See, every few years, if you say it's coming, you may be right 50% of the time, right? But I mean, it's as good as that, right? I take the opposite way. I say that these are checks and balances. Now, if you don't have more checks and balances you have, these cycles may shorten, but then the big thing will not happen. You understand, no? See, whenever you look at the reasons which caused different recessions, it was because prior to that, some, checks and balances didn't exist or failed.
Right.
I mean, like the whole mortgage industry fiasco in US. I mean, we know the subprime. I mean, everybody knows now. I mean, there are movies made on that, right?
So for viewers, for some context, I think Sanjay has seen, 5 or 6 of these already in your career.
Yes.
In the US.
I mean, I can even count 92, 2000, 2008. I mean, big ones I've seen. They're the big ones I've seen in my life. I mean, 92, I was working in a company, so my impact was lower, but to me personally, but we could hear around us. 2000 was a big one, and things were kind of, everybody was expecting Y2K will create something, but that didn't.
Right.
But the dot-com bust.
Right.
Dot-com boom was there, and then dot-com busted.
Right.
And then it kind of, that was pretty long one, I think, and then of course 2005 onwards, industry started growing again. 2008 subprime mortgage.
Right.
So if you see, all these were, dot-com bust. Valuations were crazy. I remember during that time, I just was thinking of starting company. I started in 2001. Right after that, crazy me. And, I should have started during that time. Valuations, how valuations were getting decided for a company. Hey, how many employees you have? Somebody say 100. Okay, so 2 million per employee, so 200 million.
Wow. No revenue, no value.
No revenue, no technology, nothing. I mean, they will just, of course, they will look at, okay, which industry you are in. Very good problem you're solving. Because there was so much money in the system, and everybody was running after deals, and the prices were going up. People were bidding, for the deals. And that's why I say I don't like those times,
Mm-hmm.
And then, then of course, again, now, not too long ago.
You're a contrarian. You started a company at the peak of .com bust.
At the peak of .com bust, or at the yes. So I am like that. I think same way here. The valuations were going very, very high. I mean, like earlier part of this year, last year. So this checks and balances were needed, and I think I'm glad they're there. And I think, and to all the entrepreneurs, I also I'm very strong proponent of starting companies when nobody is starting. Less competition. It's simple math. It's simple logic. Sorry, not even math. It's simple logic. You don't have to be good in math for that.
Yeah.
When not too many people are starting, the demands are, human beings are same. Demands are there.
Oh, yeah.
And so you start.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, this is a time to start, and you build up as the market will come up, right? And I mean, and all the irresponsible behavior that we see in startup founders or startup management teams, when things are going very high, when things are going up, that generally kind of creates all this, and that is what needed checks and balances.
Right.
In India we have a story of Byju's, very famous, very popular. It has been splashed all over.
Yeah.
In US we have similar stories there as well.
WeWork.
WeWork. I mean, WeWork, of course, is an old story. I don't know whether you count that story of the previous bust or this bust, but I mean, it went under Chapter 11 now.
Yeah, now it went under Chapter 11, yeah.
So WeWork, but like that, there are many companies like that who have, they're not doing well, they're shutting down and laying off people. And that is needed.
And typically what you're saying is essentially it's easier to find diamonds in such an area.
Yes.
In such a scenario.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And companies who are able to survive this are the companies which are built on stronger foundation. And those are the companies to invest. I also have, obviously, I invest in a lot of stocks and all, and the stocks which have done well are companies that you always like to invest in, right?